Hello everyone, welcome to Dala Education Group, and today we are going to discuss the Pahalgam Massacre, which is happened on 22nd of April 2025. So friends, this has come as a shock to whole of nation that our tourists were brutally killed by some terrorists. There were 5 terrorists, basically three from Pakistan and 2 from Indian side. So 22nd of April, there were 5 terrorists, 3 Pakistanis and 2 from Jammu and Kashmir, which were Indian. And they brutally killed 26 tourists in Pahalgam, district of Jammu and Kashmir. So we will do a detailed case study of this thing, that how it happened, what were the manpower used, types of weapons, location, and its implications on Jammu Kashmir, on India, as well as who were behind it. We are going to discuss all about it in this video. So location is Pahalgam. Pahalgam is a district in Jammu and Kashmir, and it is also called as mini Switzerland, and it remains a hotspot, as you can see in the map. So this is Pahalgam, and the Besaran meadow means Khas ka Maidan. So this was the site where this incident took place, which is quite 6 kilometers away from the main city. It only can be accessed by foot or by ponies. There are no availability of vehicles or other transportation in this area. So whosoever has to come on foot, whether they are tourists or they were terrorists, right? So these were the terrorists involved in this attack. On 22nd, as I already said, there were 5 terrorists, 3 from Pakistan and 2 from Jammu and Kashmir. And they killed 26 tourists, which were from different parts of India. And the organization involved, the Resistance Front, TRF, which is a proxy organization of Lashkar-e-Toiba, which is a Pakistan-based terrorist organization. So let's discuss about how this whole thing happened. What were the standard operating procedures, SOPs adopted by the terrorists? So as I told you that it is about 6 kilometers away from the main city. So they traveled this distance and they targeted only non-Muslims. So they were pre-planned that we have to kill only the non-Muslims. And to get about the identity, they asked the tourists to read the kalma, which is a Muslim verse. Those who were not able to read it, they were killed. And also they asked the tourists to put their pen down to get to know about whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims. So this was the SOP followed. They by plan chosen non-Muslims, whether they are Hindus or Christians, and they brutally killed them. Weapons and equipment and OGW used. OGW means overground workers. So we will understand what type of weapons and equipments they were carrying while the attack was going on. So weapons were M4 carbine, which is a US-based weapon, and AK-47, which is well known and a Russian weapon. They also used helmet-mounted cameras. As you can see, the terrorists want to spread the terror in the minds of the people. So they were recording it to get it published. And they were using cameras on their helmets. For the communication and navigation, they were using Chinese satellite-enabled smartphones, जो कि हवाई कंपनी के थे. So, what is the role and significance of satellite-enabled phones? You do not require the national bandwidth. You can directly operate using the satellite communications. So, these were provided by satellites, mobile phones. They are completely banned in India, and those who want to pursue it, those who want to have it, need to take permissions for it. So they use satellite phones and encrypted applications to communicate and navigate. And according to NIA, National Investigation Agency, there are 15 OGWs, overground workers, those who helped the Pahalgam terrorists. Because everybody knows that without the local support, no insurgency or terrorism can propagate, can remain in an area. So public support is very much needed to do any type of operation. So there were OGWs who helped the terrorists with reaching there, getting them supplies, getting them sustenance to execute the operation. Now we will discuss about that why are we eyeing on the Pakistan? Why we are holding Pakistan as a country responsible for this attack? The Resistance Front, as we talk about, TRF, is a proxy organization of Lashkar-e-Toiba, which is a Pakistan-based organization. And one of the 5 terrorists was found or identified as a former SSG officer of the Pakistani army. So it was a former soldier who was executing this massacre. And the second comes General Asim Munir, who is the current Chief of Army Staff of the Pakistani army. Before 2 days of the attack, he gave a hateful speech, which basically revolved around 3 things. The first one is, he said he gave anti-Hindu sentiments, anti-Hindu speeches, that Hindus and Muslims are totally different species by mind, by working, by philosophy, and everything in the way of life. They are totally different. Then he advocated the two-nation theory. Two-nation theory was given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and only because of that, Pakistan and India were separated based on the religion, Hindu and Muslims, right? And he also said that we will support the Jammu Kashmir militant and the movement for right to independence and autonomy, which is totally against the national interests of India. So these 3 things were the highlight of the speech in the Overseas Pakistani Convention. It was happened there. Next come the history of terrorism in India. As you can see, if we go to history, the first militant movement in this area was started in Afghanistan, the Mujahideens. They were fighting against the USSR. They were basically trained by the joint venture of CIA and ISI. So when the Soviet Union withdrew, the Ziaul Haq, who was the leader of Pakistan, thought that we can use it. We can use the militants against India. As they have seen that in direct conflict, they could not win a single war. So they thought of using this asymmetric warfare or the militancy, insurgency, and terrorism against India. So furthermore, they were they are being used as an asset by the Pakistani army. All the training, all the motivation, money comes from the Pakistani army. It is well seen that they are being trained in their camps and they usually do drills with the military. And which is well documented by the CIA, which is the US intelligence agency and worldwide agencies. Impacts of the attack. So this attack has happened and it was done to make some impacts. So now we are going to understand what are the impacts of this massacre or the attack. So first of all, we will examine the impacts of it on Jammu and Kashmir. Image, first one is image. So image as an unsafe and disrupted place. So whenever there is any such attack happen in an area, so people start seeing it as a threat, as a disrupted area. Because life of the people is hazardous, is in threat. So this is declared or imagined, perceived as a disrupted and unsafe area. Then comes the economic. So when we look at those people who were killed, were the tourists. They were there to visit. So they were targeted. So whenever there is any type of tourism industry, whenever a person visits some states, some countries, there are lots of people who are getting employment, who are getting money to be filled in their pockets. Let's take an example. People from Haryana going to visit Pahalgam. So they will take a flight or train and will reach to a station or the airport. After that, they will take a local guide who will drop him to the hotel. So this comes the transportation. Transportation, Jammu Kashmir locals will be getting paid, those who are indulged in transportation. Then comes the hotels, where they are going to reside for 2 or 3 days during the visit. This hotel will give the money to the people of the Jammu and Kashmir. And when they are staying there, they will eat something, they will spend their time, they will drink something. So this also gives some economic incentives to the locals. And owing to the attack, the tourism industry in the UT, Union Territory, has likely to get downfall. Because whenever we are planning something, the first and foremost thing we are looking at the security of ourselves, whether we are secure there or not. Like if we have fear in my mind, can I enjoy at a place? The answer is no. So the employment is disrupted. Then comes the damage of social fabric. In a society, there are type of people. If you look at the SOPs followed by the terrorists, they only kill non-Muslims. So the social fabric between Muslims and non-Muslim is disrupted by this attack. And it has severely damaged the sentiments of the locals, the both communities who are living there. And it has also gone to country level, that within country there are Muslims as well as Hindus, and they are living together. And this type of attacks have hampered the social fabric of our country, right? Then comes the dilemma for locals. So, image of the country might have been hampered, but the more affected one is the local Kashmiri, local Jammu and Kashmir. So, how is it affected? Social fabric has been damaged. Second, the economic impacts or financial impacts. Because if no tourism is growing, so there is no employment for them. There is no money for them. So economic pockets wise also they are affected. And also they are bordering states. Such type of attacks, such type of terrorists if are coming, getting shelters, then there is a direct threat on the lives of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir. Then comes the impacts of the terror attack on India. So the image of country as a non-peaceful. So when this attack has happened, there were some two important visits. The United States Vice President was there on a visit in our country. And our Prime Minister Modi was there on a visit to Saudi Arabia. So he had to come back. And this gave a message that something serious has happened. And no country would like their leader in the country where such type of attacks are going on. Uncalled economic worries for industries. Let's take an example of it. If an area has some terrorist attacks, insurgencies, so there would be no businessman who would like to invest his money there. So first of all, they require peacefulness so that they can work. If such attacks keep on happening, so it directly hampers the economic worries for the area as well as for the country. Like when there was Jat Andolan in Haryana as well as farm law agitation, so companies were moving out of it. Company do not want such an area where such type of things going on. And only because of that, Jammu Kashmir did not have industries, that it was indulged more into insurgency and terrorism. Now comes India's initial response to this terror attack. As we have spoken, as we have discussed, that Pakistan was behind this attack. It was backing by the Pakistan. So, first of all, we halted the Indus Water Treaty. Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960, and there were majorly 6 rivers, and they were classified into 2, West and East. Because of this treaty, the West rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, they were given to the Pakistan, and the eastern rivers were remained with India. So India has backed off from this treaty. And second comes the cancellation of SAARC visa exemption scheme to the Pakistani nationals. So this is an organization which composes of South Asian countries for regional cooperation. So because of it, some passports were issued to Pakistani nationals also. And we have halted it. The next comes the Wagah-Atari border. Everyone must have seen or visited this place. So we have closed the integrated checkpoint post at Atari border. As we also know in the history, Wing Commander Abhinandan was given back only using this check post. And also, whenever there is any type of visit, we use it every day, and all on special occasions, we conduct parades at this site. Next comes persona non grata to Pakistani defense personnel in Pakistani High Commission. So whenever there is a commission or embassy, there are people from defense forces who are sent as a defense attaché, whether they are from Army, Navy or Air Force. So we have asked them to leave. So there would be not a single defense attaché in Pakistani High Commission in New Delhi, right? Then comes the overall strength of the Pakistani High Commission has been brought down to 30, which was earlier 55, right? So these decisions were taken by CCS. CCS stands for Cabinet Committee on Security by the Government of India, right? Next comes the Pakistan response. So earlier we have discussed India's response to this attack. So now we are discussing the Pakistan response. It shut down airspace for Indian flights. So whenever we are going, whenever there is a flight, we take routes. Some routes are defined. And there are some of the flights which take Pakistan airspace. So now Pakistan has denied India the right to use the airspace for the airlines. And because of it, India is facing several economic drawbacks because they have now the flights have to take longer routes and the fuel consumption is also more. And people also will have to pay more. They also stepped back from 1972 Shimla Agreement, which was signed after 1971 war between Indira Gandhi and Bhutto. And it has also paved the way for 748-kilometer long LOC, Line of Actual Control, which was earlier known as ceasefire line. It also suspended trade between India and Pakistan. As we know that trade was also earlier, which was very low. But now it has abandoned, it has backed off all types of direct as well as indirect trades from India. Also, the decisions we have taken, they have repeated some of them, like closed Wagah border. Wagah border is from Pakistan side and Atari border is in our side, Indian side. They also cancelled the visas for Indian people under the SARC scheme. We also have backed off from it. Further possible actions by India. This is a major thing which we have to discuss, that what are more options for India as a country to avenge this attack. So apart from terrorists included in the attack, the outrage for Pakistani army has increased in India. Like earlier we used to have hate or we used to have plans to attack the terrorist launch pads, terrorist camps, which were like in Uri as well as in Balakot airstrike. But now the aggression of the Indian people is against the Pakistani army because it is well expressed that the Pakistani army was behind it. General Munir was behind it. So that is why the Pakistani army has to be targeted. So it has reached that Indians are demanding severe punishment for the Pakistani army, as we have discussed. The next comes, to fulfill that, there is a possibility that Indian armed forces would be used to teach Pakistan army a lesson and cut them into 1,000 pieces. Plan 1. So there are total 3 plans which I have figured out that what should be done. The plan 1, attack the Pakistani army post near the LOC. जो LOC है, line of control, which is with Pakistan. So there are posts. They should be attacked. They should be engaged and capture them if needed. So we have to capture the area or the post which are handled by the Pakistani army to teach them a lesson. The plan 2 is make pressure from LOC. Line of control से हम pressure बनाएंगे and Arabian Sea through the Navy. LOC से हम पे हम pressure बनाएंगे using the Indian Army. And then the Arabian Sea using the Indian Navy. And extend full support to BLA. BLA is Baloch Liberation Army, which is operating in Balochistan to get it freedom from the Pakistan. It has attacked, it has killed so many Pakistani army personnel, officers, and also previously hijacked the train, which is also in the news and the limelight. So we have to make pressure from LOC using the Indian Army, Arabian Sea using the Indian Navy, and also extend full support to BLA for Balochistan, and also TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is operating in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of the Pakistan, around the Durand line, right? True all means the third plan is use BLA and TTP. BLA stands for Balochistan Liberation Army, which is working to work for independence of the Balochistan. And TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is also an associate of Taliban of the Afghanistan, right? They have fought there. So they are demanding independence from the Pakistan. So we have to use them for internal operations. So where our Indian army cannot go, these can go. BLA and TTP can be used for internal operations like we use in Mukti Bahini. Mukti Bahini force was organized and trained by the Indian army during the 1971 war in the East Pakistan, which is today Bangladesh, right? And launched an attack by the Indian armed forces. So from the boundaries, from the borders, we will use our armed forces and attack the Pakistan. And for the internal operations, we can use BLA and TTP, which will hold the throat of the Pakistan, right? So this was the slide. In this, we discussed about how the Pahalgam massacre happened. What is the location of Pahalgam? Right? Then comes the what are the ways to reach there, how a person can reach there. Then we discussed about the terrorists who were involved in this attack. Then next comes the weapons, equipment, and overground workers who were there for their services. Then we discussed the impacts of this massacre or terror attack on India as well as in Jammu Kashmir. Next comes the steps that India took, diplomatic steps like suspension of Indus Water Treaty, etc. Thereafter, we discussed about Pakistan's response to it, Pakistan's counter response for it. And the last one, we discussed the further options which India should or can adopt to teach them, those who are people responsible for it, them a lesson. So thank you. This was a video lecture on Pahalgam Massacre. And let me tell you that here at Dala Education Group by Major Bharat Singh, we have already started the NDA Nation Defense Academy written batch. And if you want to join it, you are welcome. Thank you.